Greetings, Internet fandom! My name is Nintendork, and here I am again with Pokémon Blue version. And you might say, hey, weren't we in the forest? Why are we back in Viridian City? Well, I actually did it dumb because I was not buying Pokeballs because I forgot that this game, they don't give it to you, they expect you to buy them. In every other game, whenever you get your Pokedex, you get 5 free Pokeballs, but in this game, you actually have to buy them yourself. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and just go back to the forest where we were. Last time we started our Pokemon journey, we picked Charmander, and this time we're going to continue on. Let's see if we can beat our first gym, which I don't think we're going to be able to get that far, but hey, we can always strive, am I right? Alright, now I did say that Charmander was the harder difficulty to choose, but that's definitely not so in the Viridian Forest. Now, actually, I just realized I should have probably healed while I was out there, but hey, it's fine. I don't think we need it too badly. How much? Yeah, we're fine. Yeah, I already fought you, so we're good. Now, there's some Pokemon you can find here, like Caterpie and Weedle. However, there's only really one notable Pokemon that you can find here, and that's Pikachu, which obviously you guys know who Pikachu is. And here we go, Metapod. Now, I believe in Blue version, Weedle is actually the rare version, and Caterpie and Metapod are more common in the forest. And in Red version, it's the opposite, where Weedle's the common one, and Caterpie and Metapod are the rare ones. Oh my god! No way!
No way!
That's crazy! Okay, well, I was actually expecting to grind here a little bit while I find a Pikachu, because, you know, it's the 30th anniversary, why not use the series mascot, right? But this guy has a... Okay, this guy has a 5% rarity here. And I have had it take up to like an hour to find a Pikachu in this area, which for the series mascot, yeah, you wouldn't expect it to be a Pokemon that's really hard to find in the first area, but hey, really makes you wonder why they decided to make him the mascot compared to, like, I don't know, any of the other... No freaking way, dude! Holy crap! Alright, Pikachu, Mouse. When several Pokemon of these gather, their electricity could build and cause lightning storms. Do you want to give it a nickname? Yeah, I'll call you Lucky, because that's literally what I am right now. Oh, where's the K? There we go. Lucky. That's crazy. I did not expect to find a Pikachu already. I actually did want to grind. I actually was waiting up to grind Pikachu because purely for the 30th anniversary flair. I mean, come on. We got to use the series mascot at least. But second encounter, sure. That's awesome. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and heal him. I actually did not explain the catching mechanics at all. Pretty much it's what you saw there. You want to weaken the Pokemon first in order to make it easier for you to catch them. Pokemon have a catch rate, which is a number specific to Pokemon species. It determines the likelihood of you being able to catch it. Usually more common Pokemon will have higher catch rates, and legendary Pokemons will have like really low catch rates. And you can also use statuses to make capturing them a little easier for you as well. Please don't poison me right now. Okay, good. You're good at this. Yeah, I definitely am good at this if I was able to get a Pikachu in no time flat. Alright, we're getting a random encounter here. Here we go, Caterpie. Yeah, so I guess Weedle is the less common in Blue version. Anyways, now, unfortunately for me, Pikachu really isn't that good, and it doesn't really get good until, I believe, Generation 3. Because He is decently strong starting out, but later on in the game, you're going to really see that Pikachu really doesn't really... How many times did I say really in that sentence? He really doesn't hold his own whenever you get into the stronger fights. He can die extremely easily. The counter to that is that he has a high special and a high speed stat. So he's a glass cannon. But yeah, later games would introduce a held item called the Light Ball, which you can get off of Wild Pikachu 5% of the time. And if you're actually able to breed a Pikachu holding a Light Ball, you'll get an exclusive physical move with Volt Tackle. Couple that with the fact that you can raise his special attack by 2 stages, learning Nasty Plot in later games. And he becomes a force to be reckoned with, but in this first game, he definitely isn't as powerful as that. He's not terrible, but there's a reason why I decided to play Pokemon Red and Blue as opposed to Pokemon Yellow. Anyways, here we're gonna go in. I already have a potion, I don't really need him. And we don't really need any of these items right now because we're not gonna run into any of those statuses in the next area because right here, we're going to go to our first gym. This is basically the boss battles of the series. Gyms consist of a couple trainers and a gym leader. Gym leader will test your skills, and if you're able to defeat them, you'll get a badge. Kind of like Zelda, if you get 8 trinkets, you make it to the end of the game. But anyways, stop right there, kid. You're still light years away from facing Brock. And he sent out a Diglett, which kind of sucks because Pikachu here is an electric type. And ground doesn't just resist electric, but it is immune to electric, so it will not do anything. Which is actually one of the reasons why yellow version, in my opinion, is balanced terribly, because you're forced to start with a Pikachu, and since Brock is rock and ground type as a gym leader, your Pikachu is basically neutered into using only normal type attacks. And also, I should really be careful here. Okay. I was going to send that Sandshrew. Actually, I should have switched, but... Oh, shoot, did I use up the... Oh, crap, no, I used up the potion. I'm bad. Please don't do an attacking move. Oh, cool! Good and bad. Sand attack makes it so that our accuracy falls and we will miss more likely. Hopefully we can hit. Yes! Awesome. Wow, this episode is actually off to a good start. Now, as you see there, only Pokemon that were active in the battle will gain experience points instead of all the Pokemon. So, if you want to train efficiently, you would want to switch between battles, but since Pikachu is not able to do anything to ground types, it's better to switch train him, which pretty much means send him out first, which is why I have him in the first slot of my party there, and then switch to Charmander so he can take a hit and also dish out a hit as well. And that'll gain Pikachu half of the experience points so that he can grow up to be a big, strong boy. Alright. Okay. And Pokemon Centers, they heal free of charge, so you don't have to pay for any inns or anything. Alright, and one thing you must do before every gym leader battle: save your game. I'm Brock. I'm Pewter Gym's leader. Pewter's gym leader. Bleh. I believe in rock-hard defense and determination. This is Undertale. That's why my Pokemon are all rock type. Do you still want to challenge me? Fine then. Show me your best. This is why Charmander is one of the worst choices to start off with, because rock will resist fire. And actually, I'm thinking about it. I should have bought a potion. Okay. Okay, here we go. All right, now, even though rock does resist fire, rock does resist fire, I'm still going to use Ember because, yes, a Pokemon's type matters when it comes to what attacks you use on it, but also their stats. And Geodude here, he has really good physical defense, but he doesn't have that good of a special. And because of that, it will make it so that my Embers will still out-damage my normal hits. Even though, well, normal is also going to be... normal is also going to be resisted because rock resists both normal and fire, which is bad for me. Especially now that... okay. I might actually lose this first battle because I did not bring a healing item. No, I'm not going to change Pokemon. Sweet Growl. Nope! Crap. He's faster than me? That's... oh, okay. Well, I doubt Pikachu's going to have... we literally can't do anything. Okay. I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back, and now... excuse me. Now I actually bought some potions. So this should go better than last time. Alright. Yeah, fine, show me your best, blah, 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 whatever. Now, I actually didn't get to finish what I was talking about. Because of the lower special stat that Geodude has, fire moves will outdamage my normal moves in this situation. Couple that with the fact that Charmander gets same type of attack bonus from fire moves. And even though it's resisted, it's still a good idea to use it. However, Rock is weak to fighting, and you can get a fighting type before getting to Brock by going and capturing Mankey in red version. I don't believe he's in blue version, unfortunately, for me. And also, you can see that he's doing Defense Curl there, which raises his physical defense. It doesn't do anything to his special, so... again, him raising his defense doesn't really do anything. Oh, hey! Let's go! Okay, well, that wastes his turn at least, but if an enemy is burned, it's kind of like getting poisoned. They lose health over time, but it also cuts your attack in half. So if he was still burned there, he would have only done like 1 HP of damage. And he really isn't attacking. Wow, I got really good RNG here. If I end up not needing the potion, that'd be extremely funny. Brock. Use Onyx. Alright. So I'm just going to switch train Lucky here so I can get some experience points and actually make it viable in battle. Because I also don't want it to be in the sidelines forever. I actually want it to take some battles later on because in an area coming up, Lucky's actually going to be really useful as an electric type. Bide! Now what Bide does is it stores energy for 2 turns and then it dishes it back at you after those 2 turns if the target survives. Now unfortunately I did attack for the first turn, so he will unleash energy on me. Quite a bit as well. But yeah, the best thing to do is to be faster than the Onyx, so if he does end up using Bite, you could just growl or something while he's storing energy, and that way, if he's not attacked at all when he's storing energy, it will actually fail the attack instead of dishing it out. But hey, I got a chance to growl at it twice, which lowered its attack by 2 stages, so that's good. And again, he used Bide, which I unfortunately used Ember, so I'm gonna get screwed by that again, but it's fine because I got potions to heal me. Failed. Come on. Okay, use Tackle. He's still doing quite a bit of damage. As much as I hate using items during battles in this game because it makes me look like a noob. Hey! Awesome! There we go. Honestly, I should be using Ember in that turn where he's going to unleash energy because it's not like, oh, come on, man. Now, unfortunately, if he does get a critical, it will ignore all those stat drops. Which critical hits actually have some kind of a weird property in this game, because not only does it ignore negative stat changes, but critical hits also ignore positive stat changes. So if you were to raise your attack or lower the enemy's defense and get a critical hit, you'd do double damage as if your attack was never higher and as if their defense was never lowered. So critical hits can be bad for you, but for the most part they're good. That's, of course, only in this game, because why would that be a mechanic in the later games? I took you for granted. As proof of your victory, here's the Boulder Badge. That's an official Pokemon League badge. Its bearer's Pokemon become more powerful. The technique Flash can now be used anytime. Wait, take this with you. And that TM contains Bide, which is not that great of a move, so I'm not going to use it. What he's saying there is that once you use a TM on a Pokemon, it will break, so you cannot use it on another Pokemon. So if you want to use a TM, make sure it's something that you really don't want to go back on. Now, what he said there is that the Boulder Bash will add a permanent buff to our defense stat. And something that's also really broken about Generation 1 is that defense stat is applied at the beginning of every battle. However, if you have any stat changes to your Pokemon, positive or negative, it will reapply that 12.5% again. So say you're in a battle, you start it, you get the 12.5 boost to your defense, and then an enemy uses Growl to lower your attack. That will mean you have that 12.5 will be applied on top of the already buffed defense, which will just make you more defensive as the battle goes on. And this isn't just for negative side effects. If you yourself use a stat raising move, it will also reapply all of that. So you can stack that with moves that raise your stats and become indestructible. Now you know why I chose to do Gen 1 for this instead of Gen 3. Anyways, after we are done here, you didn't see it there, but there would be someone blocking the way if you didn't beat Brock already. Beat Brock. Brock. Anyways, speaking of Brock, there's a Pidgey here, which is a flying type, and flying is weak against electric type. So here, Pikachu is going to shine a little bit. Thank God, Sand Attack missed. Now you can see, unfortunately, it's not doing as much damage because they are higher level than me, but hey. Eventually Pikachu will get to that point. And now he did. And Thunder Wave. Thunder Wave doesn't do any damage, but it does paralyze the enemy Pokemon, which would make it easier for you to catch things in a Pokeball. But unfortunately, due to the way that the system works, paralyzation actually doesn't do anything when you're trying to catch a Pokemon. The only status that really helps to catch Pokemon is sleep. Paralysis doesn't do anything. Hey, I met you in Viridian Forest. And we are coming up on 20 minutes, so I believe this is just going to be our last guy for the day. Go! Lucky! Alright, so I guess I'll show Paralysis off. Paralyzed and may not attack. So what Paralysis does is any Pokemon that's paralyzed has a, I believe a 33% chance, or maybe a quarter, or 25% chance to not move every turn. On top of that, their speed is cut by either a quarter or half. I can't remember. But all you really need to know is that it makes your Pokemon slower, and it also cripples them into not being able to move, potentially, for a turn. Oh, and I got poisoned. Alright, that's fine. Something interesting about poison is that it does go off every turn, except the turn that you knock out a Pokemon. You'll see here that, okay, that's just going to make me more defensive because of the Boulder Badge boost. If I don't switch out, I completely bypassed the prompt that said poison was hurting Pikachu. And the good thing about that is that if you are strong enough to one-hit KO every Pokemon in a battle when you're poisoned, you will actually never take any damage from poison throughout that entire battle. There's a lot of things that get affected like that. There's a later move in the game that becomes really powerful if you're able to one-hit KO every single Pokemon with it. And I'll talk about that whenever we get to that. But yeah, poison is one of those things that if you, like I said, if you can one-hit KO everyone, you will not take any damage despite you being poisoned for an entire battle. And then every time you see the screen flash there, it's a 1 damage taken to Pikachu there. And unfortunately, I believe he is going to faint before we make it to the Pokemon Center. Yep. Oh well. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff that's broken in Generation 1, which is going to be a lot of fun to show off and take advantage of. Alright, well then, anyways, I guess that's going to do it for this episode. Next time on Pokemon Blue version, we're going to go ahead and continue to the next area of the game, Mount Moon. See you guys next time.